Do you even
I don't
know?
know whether it'd be Nebraska City, maybe, I don't know when Nebraska City Bridge was in, or whether they'd had to come clear to Omaha, I don't know, Placer maybe. And that would be mucho miles
That's a long way from
from down in,
Auburn or Rulo.
well, it wouldn't been Auburn or Rulo, but it would've been Nemaha,
Oh, okay.
yeah, south of Brownville.
Okay.
And another thing about the cars, Grandpa always bought Chevys.
Yeah.
Mom said they never would start. And this is when Mom was a teenager. She said it was so embarrassing. The car wouldn't start. Grandpa would say, "Hop out and push, kids." Boy, Mom
Oh.
didn't like that.
Poor Grandma.
Well, she wasn't the only one. There were.
That kind of reminds me of the old international that you had, that international flatbed that you had at the church in Fayetteville, and you took us to school, and Michelle had you drop us off 2 or 3 blocks ahead, so you wouldn't be dropping us off in that old junker in front of the school.
that Brother Hancock, he bought that truck and he was blind.
Brother Hancock was the district superintendent in
Right.
Arkansas, right?
Mm-hmm. North Arkansas.
Okay.
Fine man.
Yeah, I remember him and his wife coming over a lot. They came over a lot, didn't they? They
Yeah.
visited the churches a lot. They got out and.
Well, they visited us a lot because we were building a new church. And
Oh.
they wanted to see that, I'm sure. And their daughter, brother, sisters Hancock's daughter, married a young man who she met at Mid-America, Nazarene College, and he lived in, I believe he lived out in North Platte. So it's a small world.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so we're still in Nemaha, right?
Yep.
Back to Grandpa. The grain elevator job lasted about a year,
Mm-hmm.
and Kathy got her finger cut off in the safe by Uncle Al.
Yeah. Well, he slammed the door.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, he didn't do it on purpose. He just was, he was a kid who's into everything. But it still made Mom mad. I'm sure it hurt her that her little girl,
Yeah.
maybe 2 years old,
Oh.
and we were so poor that we probably never had money for a doctor,
Yeah.
if there was a doctor around. But Kathy's a wonderful lady, and she got along all right with that. I don't know if it took the whole fingernail or what it was, but we could write her and ask her. Have her send us a picture.
Okay, so anything else you want to talk about before you move to Omaha?
Well, Dad worked in the wheat fields. Did I mention that?
No.
Yeah, he'd go out in western Kansas and western Nebraska to go up. And I
How did you
think
get there?
probably he wasn't the only one from that area that went. Probably rode with somebody, but I don't know.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So he's working in the wheat field. What? Cutting the wheat? They cut the wheat by hand, or
no,
they bale
no,
it?
they had machines, and they'd ride on those machines. Dad was quite amazed with it. I can remember that.
So Grandpa worked in the agriculture industry. What was Grandma doing at this time?
Taking care of 1, 2, 3, 4. Taking care of 4 kids.
So she was pretty busy. Would she bake her own bread? Do you remember her
Yes.
breaking her own? Really?
Yes.
And
it
did
was
you
wonderful.
did somebody have to milk the cows? Where'd you get your milk? Did they have a milk man?
I don't know where she got it.
Okay.
Probably somebody gave it to her, or she got it from Grandma. We
Um,
only lived like Nemaha, from where Grandma lived, was like 3 miles.
What about garden? Did Grandma have a garden at this point?
Yes. I think everybody that I know had a garden. That was just,
Standard practice.
yeah. Sure was.
Okay, so Grandma's baking bread, gardening, taking care of 4 kids. At this point, so it's You, Uncle Terry, Uncle Al, and Aunt Kathy.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, anything else you want?
Oh, we got to go see Grandpa and Grandma, and I can remember one time, Terry and myself and Al, we stayed all night with Grandma Hall, and I think she had a feather bed, and there was a room upstairs, or more than one, and the three of us little boys, you know, we slept together up there in that room, and Grandpa had a horse called Old Tom, about 26 years old.
What kind of horse? Do you remember?
He was an old plow horse.
The Belgian, maybe? One of those big.
Oh, well, man, I don't think a Belgian. I don't know what he was,
Okay.
but I don't remember him being that big.
Okay.
And Grandpa would toss the three of us boys up on that horse, let us ride out the lane to get the mail. The lane was about a quarter of a mile long, so we got to ride a half a mile, quarter mile out, and a quarter mile back. And Grandpa, he was a great guy. He was a great babysitter.
I didn't know that.
He'd let you do anything you want to do.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he was a great babysitter, but he was a great guy. But there was nobody greater than Grandma Hall.
Okay, let's talk about Grandma Hall for a bit.
Well, she was
What's her full name?
man, Grandma Hall's full name. Well, it was Grandma.
Her first name was Grandma.
Grandma, and
That's okay. We got it written down somewhere.
yeah, we do. And I'll think of it.
Okay. So tell us about Grandma Hall. What year was she born? Do you remember? 1800s?
1888.
Wow.
And her family had come over from France. And
Do you know when?
well, I can find out because I'm sure it's in that whole
Yeah,
book
if we got it written down, that's fine.
that Don wrote. So we can get that there. Yeah. And
So, Grandma Hall's folks, our ancestors came from France?
yeah, and I think that whole family spoke in French.
Really?
English and French.
What do you mean by that whole family? The whole Hall family? Do you remember
No,
them?
the whole Grandma's family.
Oh. What was her maiden name?
Yeah, see, you asked me all those questions.
Oh, okay. We'll get it. Don't worry. We got it somewhere. But let's go back to the speaking French. Do you remember Grandma Hall speaking French or anything like that sometimes? Maybe she'd say merci beaucoup or...
Grandma's oldest sister, Mabel, never
Okay.
married.
Right, I remember that, Mabel.
And so she came and lived with Grandpa and Grandma part of the time. But that may have been after we moved here to Omaha, I'm not sure. I think maybe it was. And so Grandma and Aunt Mabel would speak in French.
That's
Aunt
cool.
Mabel was some kind of woman.
Why? What was special about Aunt Mabel?
She was just so kind to everybody but Grandpa.
Grandpa Hall.
Yeah, yeah. And Grandpa, he just loved to tease her. So,
Now, was Aunt Mabel there to help, or was
Yeah.
she there?
she was there to help and to have a place to live, as
Okay.
far as I know.
Because she
Now,
was never married, had no family,
never
so...
married, had no family. I think she worked for a while for Gary Hall's family. You know Gary?
I may have met him.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Is he the one that rides the motorcycle? Which cousin came out to Colorado on the motorcycle?
That was Jack Hall.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess I don't remember Gary. Maybe I met him in a family reunion or something, but I can't.
Yeah.
picture
He
the
lives
face.
here in Omaha.
Okay. Is he the federal agent?
No.
The marshal?
No, that was Hap Hall's. No, I'll get his name.
Okay.
Jim Hall. Jim Hall was a federal agent.
Okay, so Aunt Mabel and Grandma Hall used to speak French together. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so you're on the farm. They cooked a lot. I always remember Aunt Mabel in the kitchen.
Yeah. Do you remember she always wore a long dress?
And yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember her and Grandma baking bread.
Mm-hmm.
And then Grandpa Hall sitting in his rocking chair with overalls.
Mm-hmm.
Did they have a screened-in porch or a porch?
They had a porch, but it wasn't screened in.
Okay, I remember.
Well,
the
they
porch.
did have a. They had a couple of porches, I guess. I guess one was on the south and one was on the east. The one on the east, they just sat out there and watched the rush hour traffic out on the highway.
Okay, why don't you tell us a little bit about, give us some more information on Grandma Hall.
That was a joke. There was no rush hour traffic.
I know. I know. We're getting about a half hour here, so tell us give us a little bit more information on Grandma Hall, who was born in 1880. She was
1888.
1888.
Mm-hmm.
Her family came from France.
Mm-hmm.
And this was our grandma Alberta's mother.
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit more about her. What made her so sweet? What's your fondest memory of Grandma Hall?
All of them.
All of them?
She was just wonderful. Kind. I don't know anything wrong with her. She did like to know what was going on. And whenever the phone would ring back in those days, you know, it would ring so many times, and that would be a certain person, you know, to answer, and then everybody else could listen.
Oh, because of the party lines.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she would get on the party line and listen to other people's conversations.
And they'd listen to her too. Sure. They all did it, I think. Anyway, that's what I've heard.
Okay.
Yeah. But that was quite a thing to come then. It came back in the 40s.
What?
The phone. They first got the phone in the 40s.
Oh, okay.
And they didn't get electricity till almost 50.
Wow.
Yeah. But it didn't seem to bother them anything. Another thing that was interesting in those years was Grandma. I think Grandpa milked, but Grandma must have separated it and kept the milk and then the cream and the eggs they would take into Nemaha on Saturday evening, and they would go to the grocery store, and they would trade their produce for groceries. And Grandma would buy, back then, flour, white flour.
Did it come in burlap gunny sack type
No,
bags? Would it come in
It would come in bags that had
paper bags?
No,
Oh,
cloth bags
okay.
that had print on them, and they would get those bags. And when they would choose a bag of flour, they would say, well, this will make a dress for so and so, and this will make a dress for so.
So they would use the flour bags to make
Dresses.
Wow,
for the
I didn't know
girls.
that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Using everything of it. Okay,
And
Chief.
then also, what me and Terry and Jack Hall mostly there in Nemaha, we would watch movies on back of they have a white block painted, and they would show free movies for the people who came to shop. And there'd be a lot of kids there, so you know, you're running around just and it's a great time.